everyone. This is Mornings with Michael, actually in the morning, Saturday morning. Hope you guys have had a wonderful week. Mornings with Michael is brought to you for information and educational purposes only. So we got a little 3-page PowerPoint to show, and we'll get the action right now. Let me share the screen. Here's how we ended Friday. Got a pullback in a lot of the big 7 techs. NVDA didn't pull back too much. Microsoft was down a little over 1%. Google 0.45. Meta pulls back 0.71%. Tesla about 0.5%. The oils kind of continuing their move. Industrials look good. Restaurants, we'll look at CAVA a little later. Seems to be doing pretty well. Farm and heavy equipment. Software continues to do well. Look at Internet of Things that we profiled, I believe, yesterday. No, actually on Thursday. And it kind of broke out. So that's kind of where the heat map is. And let's go to our screen. 85% of the people should probably be in annuity. This is the benefit. Once it goes up, you never lose money. Stays on this step, and it will go up the next step, stays on this step. Whereas the index investing bobs and weaves. The other benefit of annuity is they often give bonuses. I know they've been offering around a 40% bonus. This is how they beat index investing by about 5% per year. And if you want more information about this, feel free to check us out. And that's that. Let's go to this. We'll go to that screen a little later. But first, let's go to the news. Ulta Beauty is in the news. Let's see if we can share this. Sarah, as you can see, it went up 25% yesterday. You watch this show, and we'll keep you aware of things popping. So Ulta Beauty, huge gap up, massive volume. They had pretty good volume the day before. We had 4 days in a row before yesterday. This is the 5th day in a row of heavy buying. Q3 EPS $5.07 versus $4.95. Revenues $2.49 billion versus estimate of $2.47. And so now above its 200-day moving average. Just a massive move up almost 11% for stock that is. Let's just go back to the monthly and look at where this thing has gone. Just a massive move. Like, good look at the average, maybe $5.56 to $472. Yeah, discovering these before they take off will make you very happy. So even though their earnings were down 5%, it blew away what people were looking for. Let's take a look at another one in the beauty aisle. Health Beauty continues to move positively. Got more buying than selling. So, and we can take a look at where this has come from as well. Around $10 came public at $28.92, and now it's $122.44. Get back to our news. American Outdoor Brands. Q2 adjusted EPS 25 cents versus 20 cents. and not quite what people are looking for as it continues to retreat under its moving averages. Tilly's Q3 EPS loss 3 cents versus estimate of 7 cents. Once again, people were hoping for a little better on 1.33%. Tesla shares slipped overnight after traders digest the Cybertruck delivery event. Sold off a little bit and then tried to come back. Fisker said it made a strategic decision to reduce December production to prioritize liquidity to unlock $300 million of working capital, which creates additional business flexibility. And their stock keeps sliding. So that's all I got to say about that. NIO, another EV in China, announced its November delivery results. NIO delivered 15,959 vehicles in November, increasing by 12.6% year over year. The deliveries consisted of smart electric SUVs and premium smart electric sedans. And, NIO is kind of sinking down. Another competitor to NIO, XPeng, delivered 20,041 smart EVs, representing a 245% increase year over year, surpassing monthly deliveries of 20,000. And they're slipping. Not too many people are excited. Selling volume is raising, and it was down 5.24%. Look at Li Auto, delivered 41,030 vehicles. And once again, this is slipping as well. November representing increase of 172.9% year over year. So they've had cumulative, so far they delivered 677 vehicles at the end of November. Onto energy, industrials, and materials. American Woodmark raises full year 24 adjusted EBITDA view to 235 to 250 million, and people are cheering this news. Massive volume as it breaks out 15.5% increase in its value yesterday, up 169% volume. Yeah, that gets your attention. On the Chemours, upgraded to outperform from sector perform at RBC Capital. And we got a pretty big gap up. Got 2 days prior, pretty good volume. And yesterday just took the prize as it went up 8.2% on a big gap up in raise. And then NSC upgraded to 5 from neutral at Bank of America and raised target to $248. The volume was bigger the day before, but we got a gap up and raise today, and still pretty good volume, up close to 4%. Weyerhaeuser Company announced it had entered into 2 distinct agreements with Forest Investment Associates to divest approximately 69,600 acres in upstate South Carolina for $170 million, and purchase of approximately 60,700 acres of high-quality timberlands in coastal North Carolina, South Carolina, and Mississippi for $163 million. And the stock is up slightly on that news. Was down the day before, down to its 200-day moving average, and is bouncing. Bank of Montreal, or BMO, which we see California, they're moving on up. Q4 adjusted EPS Canadian $2.81 versus Canadian $3.04 last year. Wow, it's moving up, must have still beats what people were looking for. Raise in volume the day before and big increase here. Looks like we got the bounce in the relative strength line, not quite reaching new highs, but it's definitely getting pretty close. And Raymond James Financial, moving up, raises dividend to boost yield above 1.7%, sets new $1.5 billion stock buyback program. Went to healthcare. Alta Immune announced top-line results from its 48-week momentum phase 2 obesity trial, Pemviditude. The trial enrolled 391 subjects with obesity and overweight with at least one comorbidity without diabetes. And that gapped up and sold off pretty hard. Once it moved up here, I guess people wanted to take their profits. People who had been holding here, it's sometimes what happens. AstraZeneca said it is calling off 2 late-stage trials into potential benefits of its potassium reduction drug Lokelma in treating a chronic condition called hyperkalemia in people with various heart and kidney diseases. And it's moving up a little bit. Got some pretty good volume, but stock hasn't been moving as much as you like to see with that kind of volume. BioNTech downgraded to underweight from neutral at JP Morgan. Sold off, looked like a gap down, but then recovered at the end of the day. Johnson & Johnson upgraded to buy at UBS ahead of Analyst Day, and was up pretty big the day before and continues moving up. So yeah, up 2.4%, 8% earnings in 2023 and 2024, 9%. On to technology, media, and telecom. Barella, EPS loss 28 cents versus estimate of 39 cents loss. And so tried to move up, and then it got a little bit of a railroad track going here. Down 0.34%. There's pretty good volume as it moved up, and then a lot of sellers came in. Dell, third quarter adjusted EPS $1.88 versus $1.46. Not what people were looking for, I guess, as it gapped down pretty hard and then fought back to try to get back to its 21-day moving average here. Domo, quarter 3 adjusted EPS 0 versus estimate of a loss of 12 cents. Moved up a little over 7%. Was much higher before as it gapped up, and then people sold into the close. Elastic, big move. It was one of the highest traded stocks on the percentage of increase, up nearly 700% on volume, up 37%. Gap up and raise, close near its high of the day. People continue to buy towards the end. Quarter 2 EPS 37 cents versus estimate 24 cents. Quarter 2 revenues 311 million versus estimate of 304. Guides quarter 3 above consensus and boosts full year 24 EPS view to $1.06 to $1.15 from $1.01 to $1.11. And 2024, 355% earnings growth. In the following year, another 35%. Our earnings came in at nearly 1,000% increase, 37 cents versus 1 cent. So that will get your juices moving. Marvell, Q3 EPS 41 cents versus estimate 40 cents, much less than what people were looking for. To gap down, tried to fight back to his 50-day moving average towards the end of the day. And that's where we are there. Pager duty, Q3 EPS 20 cents versus estimate 14 cents. And tried to move up, and then people sold into the close. Samsara reports Q3 adjusted EPS 4 cents versus 1 cent. Q3 revenue 237.5 million versus estimate 224.73 million. And look at all that volume. Made some pretty good volume the day before, but the stock didn't move very much. I'm not sure if I had shared with everybody, but I believe, I can't remember what day it was, but I bought a few calls at 25, and it jumped 25% yesterday. My goal was, if it closed above 25, to convert those into shares, and we'll just see if this can hold up here. Earnings came in at 300% above, 4 cents versus negative 2 cents. UiPath, another big mover yesterday, gapped up 26.72%. I believe they have AI in their blood. Develops robotic process automation to eliminate the need for employees to execute manual and mundane tasks. Q3 EPS 12 cents versus estimate of 7 cents. So they 12 cents versus 5 cents from the year before. Earnings up 140%. Lattice Semiconductor expanded its stock repurchase program with a new $250 million authorization. Stock has been in the doldrums. It's trying to pick up to get to its 21-day moving average. Salesforce files for mixed shelf offering with size not disclosed. Didn't bother buyers over here that they were going to be diluted, but as it breaks out strongly above the buy point over here. And Supermicro, 2.1 share spot secondary priced at $262. And this did bother some people as it sold off. Volume was increasing. So we'll just have to see what they're going to do with that money. And then dozens of local TV stations owned by Tegna, most of them NBC and CBS affiliates, have gone dark on DirecTV in a carriage dispute. The companies failed to reach an agreement before 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time deadline Thursday. The outage will immediately affect roughly 5 million customers in markets across the U.S. And actually, their stock rose on this news. Pretty interesting, up 2%. Let's see where financial money managers removing their money. Some of them we've already seen. We looked at Elastic, Static, we looked at Path, we looked at Internet of Things, we looked at Salesforce. Here's another, I believe it was in 2020, IPO. GitLab provides development ops platforms. Got a massive rise in volume as it breaks out of this channel pattern. We have a double bottom here. Just needed to be above at 49.90. Went up to 52.47, up 8.5%. I bought, I believe, calls at $51 yesterday. Hoping to convert if it continues higher. WMG, Warner Music Group, got a breakout here, got one. 1, 2, 3 attempts, and on the fourth it finally breaks through. Pretty good volume the day before. Not much movement in the stock, but yesterday there definitely was. Seemed like the small caps really started to move yesterday. We'll take a look at some of the indexes to kind of take a look. Pegasystems develops business process management software. Once again, software. And then look at this volume. Up 2.5%. Verona Systems. It's too far extended to buy, but I would definitely keep this on your watch list. Earnings this year up 78%, another 10% next year. Earnings came in at 60% above last year, 8 cents versus 5 cents. Axon Enterprises, holding of Warren Buffett's, continues to rise, up 0.71%. Pretty good volume 2 days in a row. Their earnings are up 76% this year and another 6% in 2024. Finally, into buying, API Group provides safety and specialty and industrial services in the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. Pretty massive volume as we got a breakout here. And got a gap down in Corebridge Financial, retirement solutions and insurance products in the United States, down about 3%, pretty huge volume. Not sure what's going on there. Pfizer got a gap down over here, pretty huge volume, down 5%. I guess we looked at Dell, less than what people were looking for over here in the news. ETI kind of consolidating, but it was down 2% yesterday and pretty huge volume. That is kind of a warning sign. Keep your eyes open. We looked at Marble. This is the short on the ARK funds. Continues down. If you wanted to buy into this, you're not feeling too good at the moment. Snow, which was up pretty big yesterday. I guess people are taking some profits. Slight pullback, not doing too bad. This is, I believe, 1.5 times of Microsoft. As Microsoft pulls back, so does this. And finally, KTB, Contour Brands. We got a slight pullback on the stock that has really been moving up and broke out. Let's look at some of our trending ETFs. Financials continue to shine. Energy popped up a little bit. Oil prices still falling. So energy, interesting. The stocks are doing better than oil pricing right at the moment. Communication services doing well, even though we got a pullback in Facebook Meta. Real estate had a big move in real estate ETF yesterday. We'll have to take a look at in a second. Let's go there right now. We'll come back to this. Dollar index gapped up and bounced yesterday, or day before yesterday, and did a retreat again. Let's see, gold bounced higher, Is this the end of the price move from gold? It's hard to tell. Silver, I took my 10, little over 10% profit yesterday in hopes of buying back 15% on any retreat. We were waiting for a bottom and we may have gotten it. Look at this big move in Arrow Copper. That was pretty good volume. Southern Copper, we got a big move there as well. Big move in Freeport-McMoRan. Nice move in Vale. So the copper people are doing pretty well. Let's look at BHP. Got a big move there, massive volume. And Rio. Gap up, massive move. This one is getting about 5% dividend yield. So time to buy on these is really when they pull back. So let's go to our bonds. Fed chair said that there's still a threat of raising rates, and I don't think too many people took him honestly. I think he's trying to hold back the market a little bit. People really generally think that rates are going to drop in the March to May area. Huge move down, almost down 3% on the day. And a little over 3% down on the 20-year yield. Take a look at our VIX. VIX is trending down. S&P 500 looks like it's close to a breakout. I think RSP is looking a little better, and this is pretty good for the health of the market. NASDAQ is up 0.29%, and then the equal weight is up even more, which is good for the health of the market, as seems like the big 7 stocks are pulling back, which is perfectly fine. We've been carrying the market for a long time. And the Russell, huge move on the Russell. We had this, one of my favorite patterns, almost shelf pattern, really tight closes here, and then just takes off. And Dow Jones, which has been kind of leading, continues to move up, pretty good volume. Salesforce really helped over here. And I believe one other stock, which I can't recall right now. Let's go back to our ETFs. The leader has been software, continues to move higher. Still pretty good volume there. Biotech. Oh, look, that's a pretty good move there. Bouncing off the 10-day moving average. IBB, pretty massive move there as well. Not as good a volume, but technology continues higher. Metals and mining. Wow. Look at that move. That is just amazing. As I've been saying, watch the number of days up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 days up in a row. And then if you go back here, 11, 12 days out of 13. So there's obviously a lot of accumulation going on there. The materials, building materials, continue to kind of shine. Pretty good volume there. And our home builders got a massive move yesterday. Take a look at DHI, which I'm kind of the leader. Got a little breakout here. We've got a shelf pattern, cup with a handle. Really love these shelf patterns. A lot of good things come out at the end. And a pretty good volume, 3 days in a row. So moving on to our education portion. Let me bring up my PowerPoint. So this is the NASDAQ. We had a follow-through day on August 29th. A little bit of a rally, and then it pretty much failed and pulled back. Then we had a follow-through day on October 6th. Got a rise in volume, a little bit of a rally, and then eventually that failed. And then got a follow-through day on November 1st, and look at this move. So this is your 3 waves down, 2 and 3. And this is generally what you're looking for. 3 waves down, kind of undercut the previous lows, shake out weak holders, and then it can really start to take off. Look at the volume, continue to raise. Volume, a lot of buying in here. Here's a closer look at 3 waves down. 1, try to get up here, couldn't go up to the previous highs, and takes out the previous lows. So we got a double bottom here. We got a little bit of a raise, gets above the 50-day moving average, and then fails again. And then it takes out everything, goes below the 200-day moving average, comes back up, and then we got this pretty good, really good move over here. This is our breakout follow-through day. Not all follow-through days work, as you can see, but no rally has happened without a follow-through day. Gap up here, got a gap up here, and we got a gap up here. And so if you take out the 7 heaviest stocks in the S&P 500, NVDA, Microsoft, Amazon, Netflix, Google, Meta, Facebook, NVIDIA, RSP is beating that. But then look at your high beta stocks on the S&P 500. Look at how this is moving. This is ETF, can actually be traded. Let me just stop the share and bring up our charts again so we can really take a look at that. I believe this is one. Before we look at the high beta, look at those. So this is the Fidelity Blue Chip Growth. This is the one that has all the big 7 stocks. 3 waves down, and then kind of really takes off. And then here's the Invesco S&P 500 high beta stocks. 1, 2, 3 waves down. Here's a breakout, I believe on November 1st. Well, this is actually November 2nd. So didn't really move too much in November 1st, but following day it did. Got a big gap up here, and then we got another gap up here. We got shelf pattern, nice tight closes, and then it gaps up again, and then it just moves along, and then it just breaks out over here. We'll take a look, see who they have in this index. So the holdings in this. NVDA is one of the holdings, Advanced Micro Devices, Meta, ServiceNow, Caesars, Adobe, Intuit, Monolithic Power Systems, MPWR, Generac Holdings, and Applied Materials. So those are the top 10 holdings, which is 13.14% of the assets, 40% in technology, 16% in financial services, 17% in consumer cyclical. That's the majority of what we're looking at. So that's going to wrap up our show for today. This has been Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and thanks for joining us. We'll be back here on Monday.